I've been making this eggplant parmesan recipe for several years now. It is so easy. And before I put this video together, I looked online at several other recipes for eggplant parmesan that were so much harder to make. It doesn't have to be that hard. And I like the eggplant parmesan to be not too bready. I like it to be light and still have the taste of the eggplant itself. And also this time we're going to use jarred marinara sauce. So that's why it's so easy. But it's also delicious. So let's get started and I'll show you how I make it. For this recipe, we're going to use a glass pan. This is a fairly small pan. It's only 11 by 7, 11 inches by 7 inches. It's perfect for if you're just starting out learning cooking or if you've never made eggplant parmesan before, to make a small pan. I suggest either glass or ceramic. I don't suggest using a metal pan for this. So if you want more and you have a bigger pan, then double the recipe. A medium-sized eggplant is perfect for this. I got this at the farmer's market. And I'm going to be trimming off the end, and I'm going to be slicing this into half-inch slices. I think half-inch is perfect for this dish, which is about this thick. So, I don't know. One finger on a regular sized person. Sometimes I've been at restaurants and ordered eggplant parmesan and it's just been sliced too thin, and then the breading is really thick and it's like, where's the eggplant? So if you're going to make a larger portion, a larger dish, you might need 2 of this size or 1 really large piece. So when I get to the end, I'll just cut that off because I want it to lie flat. So next, what we're going to do is flash fry this. You don't want to cook it when you flash fry it, but we're going to cook it on both sides with a very light breading before it's baked. Here's the assembly line over here. So I have the sliced eggplant, and then I have a pie pan with 2 eggs. And I just want to show you, for those of you who are new to cooking, that I'm just going to use a fork to beat this lightly. And then I have another pie pan next. You don't need to use pie pans, but you need some kind of low bowl. It could be a really large soup bowl, or it could be a small pan of some kind. Then over here, I'll try the pan over if my thing would cooperate. Over here, I have another pie pan. There's a half a cup of flour and 1 teaspoon of salt. And I just stirred it with the measuring spoon and then shook it like this just to distribute the salt. And then, actually I have to move the tripod. Over here, I have the fry pan, and I'm going to put in some oil, and I'm going to use coconut oil, and I'm going to heat this on medium high, which on my stove, I have numbers on the little dials, and that's a 6. You want it to be really hot because we're only going to cook the outsides, and you might have to add oil from time to time. So I'm going to start with some coconut oil. You can use whatever oil you want. Everybody has their favorites, but coconut oil is good for cooking. It's a little healthier. Some oils, when they're heated, they turn into something else. I know I really like olive oil cooking, but apparently it's not that good for you. But you'll see in a lot of my recipes, that's what I use. So I'm going to wait till this heats to medium high, and then I'll show you how to flash fry it. To finish the assembly line though, I need to tell you this. Have a large dinner plate or platter with paper towels, and I have another paper towel because after the eggplant is cooked in the fry pan, we're going to set them on the paper toweling just to set them aside. Now back to the assembly line, what I'm going to do is, with clean hands of course, dip the eggplant in the egg, and then make sure that you can see it over in the flour side. And I just make sure that It at least gets a little bit of flour on it. And I'll do different sizes at one time. So I have, let's see, I've got a large one in here and a medium. Just trying to figure out what'll fit in the pan. And then I'll do a small, and then I'll transfer them to the pan. And what I'm going to do is cook each side for 2 minutes. So here I'm going to do a little one, and I'll set the timer for 2 minutes, and we'll come back and show you what they look like after 2 minutes. So for the first batch, sometime you run into something like this where only the center part gets cooked nicely, and so I'm going to turn them around and do another minute. It's still thinking about heating up here, and then we'll come back and flip them over. Alright, now they're ready to turn, and anytime that you see that you might need a little more oil, you go ahead and put a little more in. I'm actually going to do that, and I'm going to set the timer for 2 more minutes. The 2 minutes are up, and they've cooked really nicely. Remember, you don't want to cook them through. So I'm going to transfer them to the paper towel on the platter, and then I'm going to do the same with all the rest. At this point, I'm also going to preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, now we're ready to assemble this. So I have my pan, I have the eggplant, and if you want it to cool down a little bit, you can let it do that. I have some marinara sauce. I'm not making marinara for this. I bought a jar. Now this is 25 ounces, which is probably more than I'm going to need. I probably only need 18 to 20 ounces. This is a Trader Joe's organic marinara sauce. I like it because it's thicker. I just opened another jar of their regular marinara, what they call recipe 99. I thought it was too thin, so that's just me. And I have Parmesan cheese, grated Parmesan cheese, and I have a half a cup that I'm going to do half and half because we're going to do this in layers. And I also have 8 ounces of sliced mozzarella. Oops, can you see that? And we're going to use all of this, and again, we're going to split it. So we're going to start with putting these slices in here, and we'll cut them to fit if we need to. Sometimes I need to, sometimes I don't. So, just depends. So, I can already see I'm going to do that. So, I don't make this often enough to remember how big of a eggplant I need to buy, so obviously I could have done a bigger one. So that's interesting. I completely forgot. Sorry about that. So it's going to be 1.5. Okay, so that's first. Then we're going to sprinkle on some Parmesan, about half. Well, maybe more than half. I thought I had a bigger eggplant than I thought I did. And then we're going to put on some sauce. Remember, wash your hands before you do this. I've been washing my hands throughout this whole thing. Alright, now we're going to put on some sauce. If you like to make your own sauce, more power to you. I have made it, but I didn't have time. And just ladle it on as much as you like. I like to make sure all the slices are covered. And now we're ready for the rest of these slices. And Oh, I thought I had more. So buy a really big eggplant for your small pan. I completely forgot. It has been a long time since I've made this. So now I'm ready for my second layer of Parmesan. And very interesting. Okay. And sauce. Then for the final cheese slices, I'm probably not going to use all of them because of how much I have, but to make it pretty, we are going to cut these in, hopefully you can see what I'm doing, triangles. I love kitchen shears for this kind of stuff. My dog is getting very unhappy at my feet. All right, it's lopsided, but I should have eggplant going all the way down the edge. All right, so now we're ready to put it in the oven. I'm just going to tuck these little things down here because I don't want all that cheese going around the side. We're going to bake this for between 15 and 20 minutes at 400 degrees. Here it is, right out of the oven. It looks pretty good, even though it was like 1.5 slices. So I'm going to back it up and show you what I do. I like to slice it with a serrated knife. This is a small one. Bigger is okay too. And then serve it with a spatula. And another thing you can do is have a side dish of spaghetti or some other kind of pasta like penne pasta and heat up some extra sauce on the side, or serve it with a nice green salad with an Italian dressing. It makes a delicious dinner.